So about 7 months ago, I made a video where I listed 20 reasons on why I hate Overwatch players. And that video did pretty good. I mean, it has 100,000 views. So I thought, why not make a part 2? Because, you know, I'm a very hateful person. When I look out my window and see a little kid riding his bicycle down the street, I low-key pray that he falls and scrapes his knee and starts crying. I often hate on this game and its player base, and people always tell me, cry about it. In which case, I will cry about it. Matter of fact, I'll make a whole video of me crying about it. Number 1, we got Lucio players. I hate y'all so fucking much. Now let me elaborate on that. Stay with me now. When you see tier lists from content creators who put Lucio in S tier, what rank are they? That's right, GM or top 500, because in those ranks, at least a majority of the time, you don't have absolute Neanderthals on your team who can work with Lucio's low healing, because a good Lucio will average like what, 5k healing per 10, and in those ranks you will have people who can play around that, and GM is what, 1% of the player base? Let's talk about the other 99% who play in position like they don't even know how to wipe their own ass. These players will not know how to play around your low healing. They will get tilted looking at your 5k per 10 healing because they don't understand bro is meant for speed. And what this does is you leave me to solo heal the rest of our team because you won't swap off because a content creator put Lucio in S tier. You live in this echo chamber of content creators who are in a rank you'll never hope to achieve. You are only speeding your mouth breathing team to their deaths. It's like handing a knife to a remedial kid so they can cut some fruit or whatever. If you gave the knife to a normal person who's trying to cut fruit, you would be helpful. When you give it to a remedial kid, you are endangering them and they'll most likely cut their finger and bleed to death, and you will be responsible. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Number 2, saying Venture's pronouns wrong. Listen, despite my videos looking like it, this ain't Call of Duty search and destroy lobbies. It's 2024. It's not funny to be edgy. It's corny and lame. And obviously, I'm not talking about people who accidentally call Venture she. I don't care if you don't correct yourself and keep saying it because it feels natural to you. I still call Cassidy Cree. When his name got changed, I called him Cass. Then naturally, Cree started coming back because that's just what I was used to. I'm talking about the people who go in Twitch chats or go on Twitter or go in YouTube comment sections and in all caps type she is a good hero, because we all know what you're doing. You're probably salty as hell they added a non-binary hero, and you'll always purposely call them a she because you think you're doing something. The only thing you're doing is proving how much your parents failed you and didn't teach your dumbass to be respectful. But on the flip side, for number 3, we got people who get absolutely butthurt if you accidentally misgender them. We all know Overwatch content creators are soft, but it's a different type of soft to actively ban people because they simply use the wrong pronouns. I'm all for creating a space to feel comfortable in, but if you get fucking pressed that someone in a chat accidentally slips up and calls an in-game character the wrong pronouns, you shouldn't be on the internet, buddy. And Overwatch is full of people like that, hence why it's in the best benefit for these content creators to pull this PR bullshit and go, I will ban anyone in my chat who misgenders Venture. It's like the fucking people who upload videos of them helping homeless people. Why the fuck do you have to announce that? Why not just do it? Oh right, it's because you want people to stroke your cock and be like, gee Willikers, you're so amazing. Look how morally right you are. You know, let me just get on my knees and reward you for being such a good person. It's just PR bullshit. Number 4, we got Genji's not LOSing Blade. Now, if you're a Genji and you don't jump in front of your Ana spamming your ult is ready, you don't even turn around to see if your Ana is ready, and you just randomly dash up and Blade and then fucking bitch about how your Ana didn't nano you, you need to fucking die. Because you need to realize if you're forcing your Ana to LOS you, you're most likely putting her in a bad position in most cases. For example, say you got your ult whilst you're in their backline and call for nano. Now, as Ana, since you're in their backline, I have to rush to my team's front line to get LOS of you, thus putting me in danger. You Genji players need to know to turn the fuck around and make sure you are LOSing your Ana and don't make your Ana LOS you. Now, keeping in the same conversation, we got DPS players running away from heals or just don't know where the supports are. This TikTok clip I found pretty much summarizes this point. If you are playing DPS or tank, you should always take a mental note on where your supports are positioned and make sure you are in their line of sight. It's so tilting a DPS or tank player crying about healing when you're dead or they're actively not in your LOS. Number 6, we got DPS players who run a double hit scan into dive. This one's for the DPS players who feel the need to play the most diveable DPS against dive. They have dive, let me run Ashe, let me run Soldier, let me run Hanzo, let's run double sniper or double hit scan. It's the most infuriating thing because you are forcing the hands of your supports either sit there and babysit your ass, sit by you the entire time breastfeeding you, or let you die and watch you cry about how you don't get heals. Oh my god, and I have to add the hit scan players who off angle jungle versus dive and separate themselves from their team to make themselves even more diveable. Like, oh my god, bro. Number 7, we got double-digit deaths. The teammates who you gotta whip out the Ouija board to be able to communicate with them. If you are actively finding yourself dying 10 times a game, you might need to consider swapping off Overwatch and getting on Overcooked. Hey, listen, my 4-year-old nephew can play this game, so surely you can. How horrible is your ability to evaluate and learn from your mistakes that you are positioning so bad that you're racking up 10 to 20 deaths? Like, this is shit you learn as a kid. Learning your actions have consequences. When you position like an ape and out of LOS of your supports and just running it down every fight, you're gonna die. It truly makes me wonder how some of you can function in society, and I know it's a video game, but like, how can your brain not compute that you're making the same mistake over and 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 Number 8, we got players who swap Zarya into Diva. Listen, I'm all for counterpicking, but you are a different type of fat if you go Zarya into Diva. And the funny part is, I'm talking about when my tank does the counter swapping and swaps Zarya into Diva. It's infuriating when I'm on break and I'm rendering their Diva useless. You know, I'm sitting by my hit scan on high ground or sitting by my Ana making her undiveable, and then my tank goes, yo, well, they're on Diva, I guess I have to go to Zarya. And then you cause the enemy Diva to swap, and now the game is out of my hands. Another example is when my tank swaps Zarya into Diva when they have 2 hit scans sitting on high ground with their fucking Mercy pocket pussy having a freak off like they're at a Diddy party. Like, we need a dive tank, but it's an automatic response for fucking bad players to just not factor in anything else and just tunnel vision on the fact that Zarya is a hard counter to Diva. And forget everything I just said, and you do pick Zarya into Diva and it works, and you're making the Diva useless. 1, that Diva will most likely swap after 1 fight. 2, you are still a grade A bitch for needing the hard counter like that. So it's a lose-lose situation. Listen, just take it like a man. Don't tuck your tail in between your pussy and pick Zarya. Speaking of counterpicking, let's talk about the players who are so awful that they can't even counterpick properly. The most common example I can think of is my teammate swapping Reaper into Winston and then fucking completely ignore the Winston. If you picked Reaper to counter the monkey, why are you in the enemy's backline fighting your inner demons? How about you sit in your backline, because that's where the Winston is most likely going to want to dive. Watch where he dives and then go eat his hairy ass out. It's like if you were to turn into a woman for a day. At least do it right and let all your homies hit. Just like if you want to be a pussy and counterpick, at least do it right. Number 10, we got teams that don't wait out supportal. This one is pretty straightforward. Teams that don't know how to back up from a Lucio B, a lifeweaver tree, a Moiraco, a Zentrink, a Briggs rally, a BAP window. This mostly applies to tank players where they don't know how to back their fat ass up and pick fights while these ults are up. I don't think I need to explain how fighting a team that has double your health or are straight up invincible is a bad idea. Number 11, we got people who don't listen because the person telling them what to do is toxic. This is for all the baby back bitches. Players who refuse to listen because you said something in a somewhat aggressive tone. Newsflash, sweetie, just because someone said something to you in a mean way doesn't mean they're wrong. Yes, it's annoying, and yes, it's a natural reaction to be defiant, but if it clouds your mind and makes you completely ignore what they're saying, then you're just soft. For me, it's very clear to tell when a good player is being toxic and who's a shitter just coping. When a good player says something to me in a toxic way, shit, they can even call me a slur, I don't say anything back. I keep my mouth shut and realize they're better than me and most likely know more than me. If anything, I would take that as a learning experience. I wouldn't be the player I am today if I didn't learn from every time a good player was toxic to me. Number 12, we got the people who are the ones being toxic and the ones who have the big egos. Listen, this game may be all you have, and every time your parents go to sleep, they cry from disappointment because of how much they're ashamed to call you their kid, but don't take that out on other people. If you instantly crash out and the first thing you say in VC is something negative and team blame, then you should probably work on your social skills. It's valid to be toxic after you kindly suggest something and your team still doesn't listen, because I understand how infuriating that can fucking be sometimes. But to be toxic off the bat does nothing, and if anything, just increases your chance of losing. Number 13, we got hit scans who hold close on Paraiso. This seems to happen every single time on this map. Plat, Masters, top 500, it doesn't matter. Why do you hit scan players feel the need to hold on to the first bridge and leave yourself vulnerable to get dove or headshot by a widow? Why not just back up and play range? Sit your pretty ass on high ground and just point and click. That's what your brain dead role is made for. Range. I mean, it's good for a while, but once you see they have dive or DPS that can one-shot you, why do you even risk it? Learn when to back up and fight another day instead of costing your team the first point because you have the awareness of a fucking peanut. Number 14, we got people who think the world revolves around them. Now, what I mean by this is players who sit behind cover low and spam they need healing as if they're the only one on the team that's critical. As a support player, if I see someone perfectly safe sitting behind cover versus someone who's actively in the fight getting fucking gangbang, why the fuck would I prioritize the person who's safe behind cover? Yet so many players just act like I'm blind and don't see them. I see you. It's just that our tank is actively getting fucked in the ass and needs the healing more than you do. And don't get it twisted, I'm not talking about completely ignoring them and saying y'all should go look for a health pack. I'm saying just be patient for 2 to 3 seconds, because those 3 seconds can decide whether our tank dies or not. Number 15, keeping in the same conversation, we got players who peek while they're low. To my last point, players get tilted when it takes them a while to get healed, so while you're waiting those 3 seconds behind cover, they're so impatient. The millisecond you look in their direction, that sends a signal into their brain to start peeking. They don't wait to be healed above half HP, and when they die because they're peeking with such low health, they'll start spamming I need healing or start crying in VC about how it took 4 seconds for them to get healed. Like, hello, I'm sitting in front of my supports and I'm not getting healed. Oh my god, bro, I'm triggering myself just talking about these things because like, when I say I truly hate players like this, bro, I fucking despise players like this. Number 16, we got the C9 misconception. Players who type C9 because I didn't touch the point and didn't try to 1v5 their entire team. My fault. I should have pulled a miracle out of my ass. I should have pulled a Madara Uchiha. A C9 is when the fight is winnable and you don't touch the point, not failing to touch the point because 3/5 of my team is fucking dead. Number 17, we got Lucios that don't speed you out of spawn. Lucios who leave spawn without their team because they want to hit their little silly rollouts they learned from YouTube tutorials. If it's for a boop off the map, I get it, but if you are doing it because wall riding and going Mach 10 stimulates your brain, then I fucking despise you. Number 18, we got people who feel the need to comment, console top 500 is like PC bronze. I get so many of these comments every video since I'm a console creator. This looks like silver on PC. How is this top 500? Imagine playing console Overwatch. Yes, and I'm bigger than 90% of Overwatch content creators who play PC, and about 70% of my viewers play console. Console is the majority on this channel, so know your place, PC scum. Number 19, we got players who report. A lot of us like to blame Blizzard for their soft ass report system. If y'all remember, a college player got banned and kicked off his esports team for saying the F word. No, not the homophobic slur, I'm talking about fuck. But how about the pussies who actually abuse the report system because they get their feelings hurt? It's one thing to report a thrower or someone who calls you a slur. It's another thing to report someone because they simply curse you out in match chat or VC. And lastly, players, usually fans of pro Overwatch, who feel the need to correct you when you don't use the correct term. Hey guys, Mercy is an off healer. Technically Raider, Mercy is the main support. Like, who gives a fuck? That's only important in high level play. When you say stuff like this and you're ranked masters or below, you come off as someone who's insecure about their skill, that they want to sound like they're better than they actually are. Unless you are in top 500 or pro, just say main healer and off healer. Main healer does a lot of healing. Off healer is more utility and does little healing. Don't come in here with the actually that's a main support, that's an off support. You just come off like a geek who thinks you're better than you actually are because you know this stuff and you watch pro play. But at the end of the day, it truly doesn't matter in your gold lobbies, buddy. Anyways, that does it for today's video. If you agree with something on this list, again, make sure to hit that like button. Join the Discord, link to that will be in the description. I should have part 1 to this video on the screen right now, so if you want to go watch that. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week with a toxic compilation. Like I said, you know, weekly uploads for the next 5 weeks. You know, your boy sticking to his word. But yeah, love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching the video, and peace.